Describe your overall experience kind of on the show, and how long ago was it filmed, and kind of what is it like watching it back?
It was filmed last June. It was honestly, it was kind of a surreal experience. I mean, like I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, but ultimately I actually didn't. It was more difficult and also just different than I anticipated going in. It wasn't fun, really. It was kind of like an exercise in discomfort and just sitting with that discomfort and being in pain a lot of the time. Like we were always hungry, we were always hot. We never got to relax because you never knew when you were going to get called into action, basically. And so it was just like high tension. But I feel like I made friendships and I feel like I learned about myself. And ultimately, I'm grateful for the experience. But yeah, it's weird watching it back.
If Fox called you and said, "Hey, season two, we're running it all back," would you do it? Would you do an experience like this again?
I think I would. Like as you just said, I'm sitting here, I'm doing well. I feel like I'm better for having done the show. Honestly, there were definitely things that have frustrated me with, as I said, like the edit, and you have to just sort of like remind yourself. I have to remind myself that like it's a reality show and take certain things with a grain of salt. But I think I would do it again, not because it was fun necessarily. It wasn't. But just because I do feel like I learned something about myself. I learned a few things, and I made great friendships. And I don't know, for those reasons alone, I would be open to trying again, learning something else about myself, making new friends, and yeah, I don't know, even just being away from your phone for 2 weeks and being uncomfortable for 2 weeks is like an opportunity for personal growth.
Could you see people's individual skills? Like, what about being a soccer player? Did Carly Lloyd bring out of this experience? Did winning a Super Bowl help Danny Amendola at all? Was there anything like that?
I think that each person, like the athletes, I think like have a background in sports. So like we're used to pushing our bodies to the limits. And I think that that obviously came to play in the show. But I think that each contestant was really pushed to their own personal limits. And so someone who was 60 years old and someone who was not an athlete would get pushed in a different way than someone that was an athlete. So I feel like we all got pushed as hard as we could have gotten pushed. I do think that there probably was a benefit in being athletes. And I also think like for Dwight and Carly and Danny, being a part of a team sport, I think probably helped as well, because it kind of was like a team exercise and a team building experience. And I think that they had good foundation for that.